There is a very good movie in here somewhere, but this just isn't it. Granted, this movie isn't terrible, but it just feels so empty and unearned. Also, I'm just gonna get this out of the way. I'm not a Sam Raimi guy. His style just is not for me. Like, subscribe, comment down below, and tell a friend. And if you're new, check out the rest of the channel and let me know what you think. Let's dive into Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Let's start off with what the hell even is this title? We really only get to see two separate universes in this film. There's madness for sure, but the title insinuates that our heroes are going to be bouncing through multiple universes, interacting with numerous variants, and encountering wild scenarios. But no. We see numerous universes, some pretty interesting universes that I would have loved to explore more, but that fun is over in like 30 seconds. Instead, Marvel chose to focus on two universes which really aren't that different than ours. Earth 838 is just our Earth, just a little more technologically advanced. And red means go at stoplights. Fucking cool. Now, I do enjoy the design of the space between universes where Strange hid the Book of Ashanti. You can tell the effects teams really had a lot of fun with that atmosphere and that design. The plot of this movie, though, is rough. We get America Chavez, who is essentially just a MacGuffin. Wanda is trying to capture her to steal her power so she can go to a universe to be with her twins, which just doesn't really make any sense at all. Number one, why is America the only version of her that exists? No idea. They never even dive into that fact. It just seems pretty convenient, to be honest. And number two, why doesn't Wanda just create her kids again without holding an entire town hostage? You would think that if she can create and manipulate pretty much anything, and design this giant pocket universe on Earth, engulfing a whole town, that she could just create them in a smaller universe inside her house so that it can be her and only her with her twins. I don't know. It's just feel like a simpler idea than what she does in this movie. And where the fuck is Vision? He's just not mentioned at all. He's just out there and nobody cares. Sorry, that's a sidetracked thought. Anyway, Wanda just turning heel in this movie out of nowhere is just so jarring. I understand that she was diving into the Darkhold in the WandaVision post-credits scene, but like, a 20-second scene is not enough for us to buy into her being corrupted and just flipping on a dime. And listen, there is enough that's been established for her character to make that sort of turn believable, but there's just no setup in this movie for that decision. It just comes way out of left field. What this should have been was a build-up movie for Wanda's future as a villain in this franchise. When you take into account how upbeat WandaVision ended, especially, with Wanda admitting her mistakes and trying to move on from her past trauma, just to immediately start this movie as a villain after that conclusion, it's just nonsense. They should have brought in a new villain. You could even keep the America stuff, I don't care, or don't, whatever. Maybe have her, Wanda, Strange, and Wong all team up against a multiversal magical threat like a Mephisto. And then, in the conclusion, possibly Wanda's pushed by Mephisto and turns heel. Something like that would have been better than this, whatever this is. And don't even get me started on the completely wasteful cameos. The Illuminati, this universe's version of the Avengers, arguably supposed to be more powerful, is just downright incompetent. They're arrogant, frustratingly and unnecessarily combative, and they're just wasted. They're just fanfare for the sake of fanfare, and they get killed off in a matter of moments in such a ridiculous fashion. Just the dumbest team of humans. Reed just giving away tactics, then just attacking Wanda with no plan. Xavier, one of the most powerful intellects and telepaths in Marvel, just handled in a matter of moments. And then we get Mordo back, but not our Mordo, after they set up an interesting plot thread in the original Doctor Strange. And this guy has no reason to be so aggressive towards Strange or America. Neither are a threat, clearly, and it's just so irrational, the whole thing. Now, look, there is some good in this movie. The horror elements are fun. I love Wanda just covered in blood, chasing after our heroes. I like that darker sort of tone, but a lot of that is undone with Raimi's annoyingly hammy dialogue and over-the-top campiness that you can't take this movie seriously half the time, and those two different tones just don't mesh. Oh my god, that guitar riff with the third eye, it's so corny. Just overall, it's just so bad the way he does things that way. I really enjoy the Strange vs. Strange fight. I actually think Evil Strange would have been a more compelling main antagonist, to tell you the truth. I also really like everything between Strange and Christine, and him dealing with his choices and all of the possibilities that could have occurred within their relationship. That stuff is interesting and relatable, but I don't think they dove into that enough. In my opinion, that should have been the basis of this narrative, but they already sort of did that in What If, and they did it better. All of the action sequences are done quite well. I will give Raimi credit where it's due. He is good at crafting unique and fun fight sequences, and that holds true in this movie. Wong and Strange fighting Shumagarath is a standout for me. We get to see them conjure up even more spells and powers that we haven't yet seen before in this universe, and it's a delight because we haven't seen these two team up in a while, so it's great. Cumberbatch is as good as he's ever been as Strange. This dude is a pro and continues to bring his A game in every performance for this character. In fact, the performances across the board, regardless of how mixed I am on this movie as a whole, are all very good. Even Wanda. I think Wanda as the villain is fun, and Olsen gives an all-star performance, but it just isn't earned in the sense of this narrative, as I said before. All in all, Multiverse of Madness falls into this era of the MCU that faced so many production issues that this was honestly as good as we could have hoped for, and what we got is not great. Some people love Raimi. I don't. I think his dialogue is way too over the top and corny. I think he tries to mesh tones that don't work way more often than he needs to. And the plot of this film as a whole just does not make a lot of sense. And the foundation it's built upon is irrational. And to be honest, Wanda is just kind of wasted when she could have been set up as a more powerful and compelling villain down the line. Cumberbatch's performance carries this movie, in my opinion, because no matter how ridiculous, how corny, how nonsensical this movie grows around him, he remains ever so captivating.